I'm going to welcome our guest now. So if you can just help me welcome him by just putting "Welcome Chuks" in the comment box. Chuks is going to tell us a little bit more about himself, but I'm excited about the story, well, his story that he's going to be sharing with us today. And I'm sure it will really inspire you, because my desire with Future Fit is not just to bring us information, but it's also to get us inspired to take action. And so when we bring guests on, our desire is for those guests to inspire us to take action. Hey, Chuks. Great.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
Fantastic. You know, it's great to have you on the show.
Fantastic. Always nice to speak to you. Always nice to speak to you. Yeah. I always like listening to your shows because you inspire me when I listen to you. So I'm always chuffed when I listen to you. You know, you just give me that motivation. So no, thanks very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for that. And guess what? You're here today to inspire us all.
Oh, gee. Okay. Oh, wow. Awesome.
But really good to have you. I'd like you to just introduce yourself briefly.
Okay. So my name is Chuks, and I'm owner CEO of Kent Housing, a company that provides accommodation for construction, business travelers, housing associations that come into Kent, and that's pretty much what we do. So just an accommodation provider in Kent. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so how did you, because today we're really focusing on business. The reason I wanted to bring you in was because I've been thinking, you know, I know there are lots, and I've been talking to lots of people. There are lots of people at the moment who are feeling a bit unsure about, you know, what am I going to do with my life? Maybe they've been furloughed, or some of them have lost their jobs. Some of them have been made redundant. And you know, a lot of people are just in that place of uncertainty. And I know that you have a story around that. You've had a bit of a journey to get to where you are today, running this housing company. So if you could just share with us briefly about your journey and how you came to be doing what you're doing today.
Yeah. I think, like I said, my journey has been an interesting journey. When I left university, one of my main goals was obviously to work in the city, and I went into the city hoping to become a financial trader. I was always dreaming of when you see, I don't know if you looked at the New York Stock Exchange, when you see all the traders on the floor. Yeah, that's always been my ambition, to be on the floor, on the floor. Yeah, so I had quite a few interviews, hoping I can get a job to become a trader there. But on the live exchange floor, this was before it was computerized. Yeah, but I didn't scale through. And obviously, what now happened? I left the city, went to work in the .com era. So I worked. Selling, I started working with an old British company selling luxury pens, and I worked in the time where having to sell an item online, which was very expensive. I mean, it was unheard of. Yeah. So this was the likes. So we were competing with the likes of the Mont Blancs and all of that stuff. So we did quite a few things. We changed the market. We got people getting online and buying stuff online from our product. And obviously the .com. So now came the .com crash. So everything went haywire. There was no more sales, you know, and all the .com people were shutting down, closing, and all of that stuff. And I lost my position, and I thought, what do I do next? You know, and someone said, why don't you go do housing? Why don't you go and learn about, go and work in housing? And they said, go work in the, you'll be guaranteed a job working in the housing, go to the council. And I thought, I've never worked in local government before. And that's not what I wanted to do, you know. But I got into local government, and I worked with what you call it. So I was appointed to work with what you call the mortgage rescue. This was the time, obviously, there was a bit of a mini recession. People were losing their houses and all of that stuff. And they got me on board. So it was quite interesting. So I was managing that part where the council were buying houses to keep people in the accommodation. Yeah. So they got me negotiating with the banks and all of that stuff to keep them in the properties. Yeah. So I did that for a while, but that got me an insight into housing. Yeah. Because I've always been an entrepreneur and I've always loved seeing gaps, and luckily I got introduced to a property developer in the area, and they took me on. they took me on because a property company bought her company, and they wanted someone who could run it. So they brought me on board as one of the directors of the company. I joined them, and we built the business, and I think they wanted to go one direction, I wanted to go the other direction, and I thought, okay, I'm going to see how I can make this happen. So I thought, okay, let me tell them. So I gave them, I called the big boss, one of the big directors, and I said, I'm going to leave the company. I think we're going separate ways, and I think I have one idea of a company. You guys seem to have another idea, and I thought they would ask me to stay. So I handed in my notice, and he says, yes.
Sorry, I need to just stop you there for a minute, because I find that quite interesting. So basically, you did not really want to resign.
No chance.
You were hoping to squeeze them into doing something, and they called your bluff.
Exactly. So you can imagine when they accepted my notice, I said, oh boy, what am I going to do? So I was a bit of in limbo, and I thought to myself, what am I going to do next? There's got to be a solution out of this. But what they forgot, I think what was to my benefit was that a lot of the clients who came in there came through me. So I thought, I've got to give this a go. I've got to give this a go now. I've got to go on my own. And I invited a friend of mine and who was living abroad in Qatar. And I said, listen, I've got this idea. I think, we can run it together. Why don't you come on board? And he came on board, and the rest is history, and we worked it. We just worked it. So really, a disappointment led to an opportunity.
Absolutely. And isn't that just true? Somebody said we don't even know when we're having a good day or a bad day. Sometimes we think we're having a bad day, but we're actually having a good day.
Totally.
Just thinking back to how I started my first business, my law practice.
Yes.
I'll share the long story some other time, but just very briefly, quite similar. I had always had a dream to run my own law firm when I finished law school, and I wanted to do it in honor of my father. And so I finished law school in '89. So this was 2005. So from '89 was when I said I made that pledge that I was going to run my own law practice, and 2005. I still hadn't started. I was waiting for the right opportunity.
Yes.
I was waiting for the right opportunity. I really don't know what I was waiting for. My husband, from time to time, because I shared that dream with him, from time to time, he would say to me, honey, when are you going to start? When are you going to start? And I'm like, I will. And so 2003, I had my third son. I was working for a law firm in London at the time. And I said to myself, that's it. No more commuting to London. I don't want to do this long commutes anymore. I don't want to, because with our first two sons, it was just very, very hard. We come back late, we just come back on time to put them to bed and all of that. And I thought, no, I don't want to do that anymore. So after my maternity period, I said, okay, I'm going to look for work locally. So I joined a housing trust. Okay. Housing trust in Maidstone, the town where, we were not living in Maidstone at the time, but I joined the housing trust in Maidstone. Just like you, I was doing in-house work for them, doing all their right to buy, sales, etc. And then it got a bit boring because it was the same work over and over again. And I was missing that excitement of private practice. So I said, I'm going to go back into private practice. And I dusted my CV, updated my CV, and started to look for work. So I went for this interview. It was to head their conveyancing department. And I knew I could do it because that's what I was doing at my firm in London. I built the conveyancing department. So I knew I could do it. I went in, had an interview with the practice manager. She loved me, invited me back to meet the senior partners. For some reason, they decided they weren't going to give me the job. I wasn't good enough or whatever. And I was so disappointed, but I was a bit angry as well. And I just said, you know what, your loss. I'm going to take my skills and my talent somewhere else. So I walked away from the premises towards the train station. a question just dropped in my head, and it was exactly this question. Why are you going about trying to convince people you can do what you know you can do, but for
Wow.
their benefit, not yours?
Wow.
That is a very good question. Why am I doing that?
Yes.
So I got home and I said to my husband, that's it. I'm not looking for work. I'm starting my practice. And I didn't have any more money in the bank than I had the previous day. I didn't go for any additional training. I didn't have any more experience. I had no idea where my first client was going to come from. The only thing that changed was I made a decision. Decision. And I started, and I got into work, told my manager I was resigning. A few days later, she said to me, okay, we're not going to replace you. We're going to outsource the work. We're going to outsource the work. And me, as naive as I was at that time, business-wise, it just kind of went over my head. It didn't even occur to me that this was an opportunity. But a colleague of mine said, Mary, why don't you put in a bid for the work if they're going to outsource it? After all, you're already doing it. So I put in a bid for the work. And guess what? I got it. And so I got my first corporate clients even before I started my practice. So if you out there, if you're feeling a bit shaky at the moment and you're like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work, I don't know what I'm going to do, you know what? You just need to go with your heart. And it's not everything that will work, but what you learn along the way is priceless. It really is priceless. 15 years later, I still have the law practice, and that company is still a client of mine.
Awesome. So, and you notice that it's never money, that it's never a money challenge. You know, it's a decision you made. So it wasn't the money that stopped you from starting. You know, it was just that decision you made, and you made that happen, you know, which a lot of people think is always a money thing.
Exactly. A lot of people put all these obstacles that are not really obstacles. The real obstacle is what's going on in our minds. So we put all these obstacles in our way, and we think because of this I can't, because of that I can't, because of this I can't. But really, we just make that decision.
Yes, totally agree.
I'm going to ask you a few questions, Chuks, because we're running out of time, and you can just share a bit more with us. So, what is your passion?
I think my passion, one of the things that I'm very passionate about is, I think you probably know, is helping people. As a business, we've got to make money. You can't stay away from that. But sorry, you're going to say something.
No, I was just going to say it's a business, not a hobby. So yes,
it's not a hobby. Exactly. But my passion is, even in like this week, I mean, I had several people call me with regards to say they want to come into Kent, they want to invest in Kent, they want to buy a house, they want to rent a house, they've got properties in Kent they want to use, and blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that I always tend to do is that I speak to people with no intention behind me that I've got to sell, I've got to grab them. I always tell the clients that come to me, I tell them everything, I tell them the truth, everything they want to hear. And I say, even if you don't choose me, you can go away knowing that I have given you enough information to make your decision. And most times when people hear that, they say, wow, no one has told me that before. No one has said, even if you don't choose me and you want information, you can come back and I'll tell you for free. And one of my goals is that I help people. And when you help many people, I think it's Zig Ziglar said, when you help many people, or when you help people get what they want, automatically you get what you want. It's a life philosophy. I always believe that.
He says, if you help enough people get what they want, you never need to worry about what you want, because it's about what you put out, you get back. You might not get it from those exact people, but you definitely get back.
Totally.
Biggest lesson learned to date?
The biggest lesson I've learned to date is that you've got to believe. In anything you're doing, you've got to have belief. Once you have belief, half of the work is done. Half of what you want to do is done. I always tame this belief. I tell my friends and my colleagues that you need to have what you call an insane belief. That when you believe that I'm going to do it, you just go all out and have no other option in your head that it's not going to happen. So you've got to have some sense of massive belief. Yeah. And I always tell people, never fall in love with your product, fall in love with your clients. Yeah. So you may have the greatest products and everything shining and all of that stuff, but don't fall in love with it. Fall in love with the people that will buy your product. Yeah.
The people you're trying to help.
The people you're trying to help. Yeah.
Okay. Most difficult thing you've ever done?
I think I've always, in everything we do, I mean, I've been in business for about 6 years. Yeah. You always have challenges. Yeah. Even every decision that you make, I have butterflies when I want to make big decisions. Yeah. And, but the most difficult thing that I've ever done is probably going on my own. Yeah. Going on my own and saying, yes, I've got to make it happen. Yeah, that's one of the biggest challenges I've ever had, but I crossed that, with a belief in my heart that it will be done. Yeah.
If we have time, I'll come back to that belief thing in a minute, but let me finish.
Yes.
Let me finish going through the questions. So your most embarrassing moment?
My most embarrassing moment. Wow. I would say my most embarrassing moment was, I'm trying to think about my most embarrassing moment. Oh boy.
I bet too many.
Oh gee, there's quite a few embarrassing moments. Oh boy. Oh gee. Let me think about that one and come back. Yeah. Next question. Okay. Let me think about.
Okay. Whose mind would you most want to get into and why?
I think the person that I really look for, at is John Maxwell. Yeah, I think the guy John Maxwell. He's a leadership trainer. I think that's how I met you as well. Yeah. He's an awesome guy. I sit down and listen to this guy, and every day he speaks. So, I listen to the audios like every day, and I pick up something new, and I'm thinking, wow, this is awesome. Why, I never thought about this. Yeah. So I always feel inspired when I listen to him, and I'm same like you. You share a lot of leadership stuff. Yeah. I love people in my circle. Yeah. And I always get inspired by people like yourself and John Maxwell. You guys inspire me to do more, and so really, you guys in the leadership field like yourself and John Maxwell, I would say definitely are the people that I always like being interested to know more about.
Wow. I feel honored to even
No, awesome. No, you're an inspiration. So definitely.
So I appreciate that. Thank you. So what does success mean to you?
I think success for me means being able to help many people. And as you know, I've got a food bank foundation in Kent. That feeds a lot of families. And now, obviously, in this lockdown period, we're having to do more feeding, more going out there, helping people, families that can't go out to buy food, and we're delivering more food. That's exciting for me because I know that it's touching someone's life, it's touching many people's life. And obviously what I try to do is that why I tend to do that, I always feel if I can do something like that and that can go to many other people who can do the same, at least one child would not go to bed hungry.
Yeah, I think your passion to help people comes across. That comes across even in all the answers you've given. That is a thread that runs through everything you do. And it's so important to know what our passion is and what our purpose is, because I really think it helps you stay focused. It helps you make decisions quickly because you're not here, there, and everywhere. You know exactly what you want to do. You know where your life should be going. So I think that makes such a huge difference. We're going to finish shortly, but if you haven't already shared that video, I would want you to do so, please. And if you have a question for Chuks, please feel free to put it in the comment box. If you have a question before we let him go. If you have a question about how he managed to get over that disappointment of not
of handing in my notice, and totally. Can't get over that.
Yeah, I want to come back to this belief because you've talked about that, a lot,
Yes.
How, because I know I do meet people who struggle with that, with confidence, and it might not be every time, Some days you think, I've got this, and other days you're thinking, man, is this going to work? But how do you, I know you said you have to have that belief, but Well,
Yes.
what process do you go through in your own mind to
Yes.
come to that place where you lift yourself up again and say, I can do this? What do you?
Yes, I think I've got kind of what you call a pattern, yeah. Because for me, I do things that I read a lot of positive motivational book, a lot of self-help, personal development books, yeah. I read a lot of autobiographies, yeah. I like learning about leadership, motivation. You see, I feed my mind all the time, yeah. And the more you feed your mind, for some reason, it starts going inside you, and you start believing. You start hearing that voice, yeah, and believing. But what you got to be careful about is that a lot of people, they call them, I mean, they would read motivation, they would read all the books you can think about, but they don't take action, yeah. Yeah. So they're two different things, yeah. You've got to read those things and take action, yeah. And set yourself mini goals. Like for me, for example, this week, when my week, I start off with goal plans, yeah. I said I would learn this, I will do this, I will close this deal, yeah. You set little things like that, and you see, when you do those things, yeah, you come at the end of the week and say, yes, I've done that. It lifts you up, it lifts your belief. When you start your week without a plan, yeah, you wonder. Yeah, and you come the end of the week, you've done nothing. You see, little bits like, and it's a process. You just can't build belief straight away. Yeah, it's a process. Yeah, part of my job is selling, and selling them, you've got to have some kind of insane belief. Yeah, and you will hear people reject you. A lot of people think because I've got to sell, I pick up the phone and call clients. Yeah, and most times the belief normally people have is that they'll drop the phone on me. Yeah, but you see, when you do that, yeah, when you start to tell yourself, they won't drop the phone on me, I will speak, yeah. Most times, most people don't drop the phone on you, yeah. They help you to the next person or whatever, or seal the deal for you, yeah. And that automatically builds that belief in you. But subconsciously, the story is that they will drop the phone on you, yeah. So belief is practice. You just got to practice what you need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is so good. So I mean, before I invited you on, I was talking about the importance of taking action. Because one of the ways to overcome low self-esteem and to actually build up your self-esteem and build up your confidence is to take massive action.
Oh, big time.
Just take massive action. Just go ahead and just do it. Because if you're not taking action, it means you're procrastinating. And like most of the time, I'm writing a blog on procrastination at the moment, because most people, when they talk about procrastination, they only talk about, they say to you, just do it. Just no. The reason people procrastinate is actually more mental than physical. So just somebody just go do it, it's not going to work. So we need to find out what is that thing behind you that you procrastinate. And you just hit the nail on the head. For instance, you said, when you are thinking, I'm going to be rejected. If I pick up the phone, they're going to say no. Now, obviously, nobody likes rejection. So you're not going to procrastinate to pick up the phone, because already in your mind, you're not going to get the result that you want. So instead of saying, just pick up the phone and just do it, no, you want to recondition that thinking. You want to recondition that thought, that pattern of thought, and expect a good result. We were talking about expectation at our last mastermind group, Chuks. Expect a good result. So if you expect a good result, you will be excited to pick up the phone because you're expecting a good result. So,
Totally. And the other thing I will have to drop in there, sorry, because I know we're running out of time. The other thing I'll have to drop in there, one of the key things is having a coach. Honestly, that's what's made it happen. I mean, for me, you need a coach, If you look at the best if you go Man U, Ronaldo, and all of the big, they all have coaches, A coach guides you, A coach tells you, and you got to be ready for a coach to say, hey, get up, to not criticize, but to give you positive, to tell you, you're not doing this, you should do this. A coach, so you need exactly, that's the word, to hold you accountable. Most successful people have coaches, so you need a coach to guide you, because if you think you can do it on your own, sorry, you can't.
Like Tony Robbins said, if you want to go slow, if you want to dabble, if you want to go slow and you want to dabble, go on your own. But if you want to go fast and you want to go with certainty get a coach. It's I mean, for me, in my own personal life, just the mentoring and coaching I've been with John Maxwell team is just a tremendous asset to me. I wouldn't even be where I am now, to be honest, if I didn't have that. So you're absolutely right. Getting the coach is a great investment you can make. You know what, Chuks, thank you so much for
awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beverly. Thank you, Kunle. Thank you, Muyiwa. Thank you. I'm just trying to go through all the lists again. Thank you every single one for taking time out of your busy Saturday to tune in. I don't take it for granted. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks again, Chuks. We're here.
Thank you. Cheers.
Next week, 2 p.m. on Future Fit. If you haven't shared the video, do so. If you haven't liked it, do so. Great to have you all. Bye-bye for now. Bye.